Cancerian Massive, what's going on? It's your girl D. Today is Halloween. Happy Halloween to those who celebrate. Um, this is a general read. It's going to be an astrology read for the month of November for my Cancers. This may resonate more with Cancers who have the ascendant, the sun, and the moon in Cancer, but it could resonate with all of us because we are dealing with the lunar energies of the solar and lunar eclipse that we're in the middle of. So any place where there's lunar energies may be highlighted, during this time. So, Cancer, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Um, we are now in Scorpio season, and we're in the between two eclipses. We just had a solar eclipse occur on October 25th in Scorpio, which is where the collective's south node is at. Also, in the house of Scorpio, we have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury there. We're going to start with that because, again, that's where this eclipse energy began on October 25th in Scorpio season. Now, Scorpio, for you, that house is lit up, like I said, with Venus, the Sun, and Mercury there right now. Okay? When we get to the middle of November, these planets are going to move over into your sixth house. They're currently in your fifth house. So let's talk about where they are right now for the first half of the month. And these energies you've been feeling, because they're eclipse energies, you've been feeling this probably for about a month and a half before October's 25th date, because that's how early in advance some of us could be feeling these energies. And because you are ruled by the moon, I have no doubt that you've been feeling these energies, sooner than most of us. So your fifth house has to do with your children, the childhood energy in you. It has to do with your love affairs. It has to do with romance. So any type of situationships, friends with benefits, types of relationships or romances are what dwell in the fifth house. Also, this is the house of quick money. So playing a lottery, gambling, making any kind of, flipping money type of thing. This is the house of this is also the house of like theater, the performing arts, being on center stage, athleticism, so athletes. This house covers a lot. This is also the house of your leisure, what you like to do for fun when you relax, you know. So you got a lot going on here, okay? You got, like I said, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury here. All right, they've been here since roughly the 20th. Yeah, because Venus and Mercury came over last. Mercury just came over. But at any rate, Scorpio energy here. This is your house of Scorpio. This is the house of beginnings, endings, and beginnings. Okay, look at Scorpio as a cycle energy. It does have toxic energy associated with it, but all signs do. But Scorpio is infamous for the toxic energy because it deals with actual physical death. But it also deals with death of all things, whether it's a spiritual death, physical death, a cycle ending, and then something new being began. So, like, you tear down a building, right? An old building. It's lived its life. People coming in and out of it. It's no longer, safe. So people tear it down and then they build up a new one. So that's the energy of Scorpio, death and rebirth. It also has to do with physical death, physical birth, right? So anything that's being born again, being renewed, anything that goes through some type of cycle where it events itself, like energy itself, it transmutes itself into something else. So those are the energies that you're dealing with in this house. So growth is one. We think about Scorpio, think about the butterfly in the cocoon, or the caterpillar. It goes into the cocoon and then it grows to be a butterfly. So for some of you, because this is your child's house or the house of your children, some of you, your children are going through a transformative stage. It could be, going from childhood, like, grade school into junior high or high school, or they could be coming into junior, in junior high, high school, getting to the end of that cycle, right, where now they're getting ready to start going off to college and things like that. But I feel like a lot of you could be dealing with that, right? It could also be the anniversary of somebody's the death of someone's child, so my condolences to you in that. Some of you may have had babies. Okay, congratulations to you on that. Do you understand the cycles that are going on here? So, this is also a house of performing arts. So maybe you have some people who are retiring, and from the sports industry, because the sports industry could be covered under the fifth house. So maybe people are having issues with things going on here, right, in this house. Maybe children, they're having children now, so maybe people are retiring and they're going to go off and be with their children and their families. um, Maybe people are going to be coming into any of the sports leagues. Maybe there's drafting coming up, or talks of it, or they're in the midst of it, things like that. But also, um, when it comes to your fetishes, your desires, things like that, because you got Scorpio in the fifth house. So this is definitely could be very playful energy, could be very transformative energy as well. So be careful. When we talk about the fifth house, we're talking about love affairs, flings, situationships, things like that, and we're talking about the energy of Scorpio. Scorpio does rule the sex organs, and you just need to be careful not to be out here putting yourself at risk for STDs, not only spiritually transmitted diseases, but sexually transmitted diseases. You know, um, so just be careful with your energy, who you give it to, and who you share it with. You may feel a lot of sexual desire at this time, right? Because the other eclipse that we're gonna have is on the 8th of November. But you could be going through these things. Your children could be at a stage where now they're at a pubescent stage, where they start being introduced to girls and boys, or being interested in girls and boys, or whatever their situation is. This is where a lot of people start to develop. Their physical bodies develop, things like that. So some of you may be experiencing that with your children, and you're like, damn, where's the time going? Right? So Venus is all about you know the beauty. So some of you, your daughters and your sons, they're starting to become very attractive. Their features are being more pronounced. The things you go through when children get a certain age and they start maturing and they get ready to date, or get ready to get prepared to date. So that type of thing. um, Mercury's here as well, so this could be you just really having to process that, looking at because Mercury's just information, and it's like also fast information, fast communication, and you're just seeing how things change, how their communication changes, things like that. Now, if this is not about children, this could be a brand new idea that you may have, because this is your firehouse, this is your creative energy. So some of you could be coming up with some things that you may want to do. You could be tapping into, occult studies. Some of you could be into child psychology, maybe looking at natal charts of children, or trying to focus on your child's natal chart, because Scorpio does deal with the collective, the occult sciences, and we're in the fifth house. So, some of you, your interest may peak in reference to these things. You may take your studies to the next level. Some of you may be introducing your children to the understanding of astrology, natal charts, things like that. Now, um, on the 15th, no, the 16th and the 15th of this month, Venus and Mercury are going to be moving out of Scorpio and going into your second house of Sag. The sun's going there too on the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, we have the new moon in Sag. So we got all of this energy from Scorpio moving into your sixth house in the middle of the month. Now, that's your house of, your routines, your patterns, things like this. Sag rules this house, right? So, this is all about you feeling optimistic about your daily routine. Some of you definitely are trying to maybe travel, put something together where you're able to travel. I'm feeling a strong energy of somebody wanting to, especially with this next to your fifth house. Like, some of you definitely want to travel overseas, or be able to live overseas. A lot of people now, they're picking up and working remotely, and I feel like that might be an energy you might be interested in, or you could be researching this, okay, on a low, not letting anybody know that that's what you're doing. I'm not mad at you, all right? But there's a lot going on with what you do for fun, and trying to incorporate the things that you truly enjoy into your everyday life. Like, I feel like a lot of you are coming to a rebirth of ideas, or you're just doing things to reconstruct your life in a manner in which will allow you to live the way you want to live and do what you want to do. This is also the house, the fifth house is also the house of quick money. You got Venus in there. Venus is a money planet. Scorpio is a money sign. So with the sun here, you guys are really looking at your money. You're focused on that. And with that Mercurial energy, you're looking at, okay, what can I do and what I can't do. All right. So now you're trying to figure out what you need to do. So with the sixth house, all this energy moving into the sixth house, now you're going to start changing your routines, your patterns. All right. If I spend a lot of money, I'm going to cut down on what I'm spending. All right. I'm going to make sure instead of ordering out, I'm going to be ordering food. I'm going to be cooking it. If I can get if I take public transportation to work, what's the, most efficient route based on the weather and what's going on? I gotta, factor that in. Some of you are really looking at your money, you know, um, when it comes to changing whatever it is that you're doing so that you can move towards the lifestyle you want. Now, your seventh house is your partnership house. Pluto is here. It went direct this month. Pluto went direct actually in October, is what I'm trying to say. About the early part of October, I believe. But we're just now really, seeing that process of death and rebirth, the begin again. When Pluto was in retrograde, this is when we were in thought. Like when a lot of the planets were in retrograde, that's the energy of just being in thought, figuring out and assessing what you did, what you didn't do, what you want, what you don't want, and what moves you need to make to move forward if you're going to make any at all, right? So it's all about decisions and choices and options. So now, and how to begin and how to rebirth, right? Or should you just kill the whole situation, or should you change it and move forward in a manner which is beneficial to you? So that's basically what the Pluto energy is. Now, this could be a relationship with someone, or it could just be a battle that you have with yourself. Some of you could be dealing with some addictions, and you're trying to put yourself in a position where it's like, okay, I know that I gotta end this, I gotta cut back or I gotta stop or what have you. And now you're putting routines in place. Okay, well, I can't be going to the bar anymore. If I want to stop drinking, I gotta stop doing that. Or if I want to stop smoking, I can't be doing A, B, and C. You know what I mean? So whatever habits you may have that bring you joy, bring you pleasure, you may be either trying to cut back on them or you're trying to implement them in because you want to have more fun in life. So it could be one of these things. Now, with your seventh house of partnership, Pluto's here. So I feel like you are the relationships that you can salvage, you're going to. The ones you can't, you're just putting it into it. That's part of your routine and whatever it is that you're doing as far as the change that you're making in your life. Now, your eighth house is where Aquarius is, and that's Saturn. Saturn's there right now, and Saturn went direct in October also. So a lot of activity going on right now because we're all in some way, shape, or form going through transformation, especially now that we're in Scorpio season. We are in the cocoon right now, right? So when we get towards the middle of November, we're going to be switching into Sagittarius energy, and we're going to be coming out of that cocoon, and as a result, we're supposed to be wiser. So as a result of being wiser, looking at the experiences we went through, that shapes our religious views, our spiritual views, that shapes our philosophy in life, and looking at the journey that we went through to get there, right? So these are some of the things you'd be dealing with your ninth house with Jupiter, Neptune, both of them in here with Pisces. So definitely, for a lot of you, the wisdom that you're gaining is interesting. For some of you, you're going to see a repeat of some lessons that occurred back from, let's say, from spring to the middle of July. So from May to the middle of July, whatever was going on in your life then, how you were thinking, feeling, and moving, you may see that come back into play because that was going on when Jupiter was in the ninth house with Neptune. Jupiter left, right? And then it came back in again. So the last time it was here with Neptune was back in May to July. So that's why if you look back at that time, or maybe go back in the playlist and look at the readings from that time frame, see what was resonating then, see what resonates now, and that's something that you may need to address. Or you could just be closing out the cycle because the eclipse energy is all about releasing emotional energies attached to something. So maybe you left a situation or a person or a job, but you still had emotional ties to it. This is the energy you want to use now to help purge that, especially with Scorpio season. Purge any, deep-seated negative, toxic feelings that you have about any situation that you are no longer in. And even if you're still in it, ask to remove that energy or transmute that energy, basically, is what you're doing. So there's a couple of ways you can do those things, but you have to figure out what's best for you. So now with your 10th house here, as far as your career, you got Aries here, and this is where the collective has Chiron in retrograde. So I feel like with this Aries energy here, this is all about, you know, uh, I feel like some of you do a lot of physical work, and if you don't, you have the stamina to. So some of you may you may work in a warehouse, right? You may be like right now the holiday season, so you may be in environments where you're helping to, get products and stuff, to whomever, get them on the trucks, get them off the trucks, get them on the shelves, whatever your involvement is in that. I feel like a lot of you are working those types of jobs. Um, I feel like also you got to watch out for head injuries, please. Okay, at work, watch out for head injuries. Aries rules the head, and Chiron can be sometimes a physical situation going on. So you may, some of you who may have had concussions, maybe your head gets sensitive at this time. It could be something severe like that, or you may get headaches. And it could be because of things that you're around at your job, like the chemicals, the toxins. So just watch for head injuries, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars rules iron, right? Mars is in retrograde right now, so Mars is not on his warrior state. He's like in relaxation, so he may not be paying attention. So just don't get too relaxed, okay? So there's that. Not everybody needed to hear that, but that's what came to me. Some of you, you may not be happy with your positions or your roles. Maybe, you're looking for something new. That could be the case. Some of you may have just started a new job. So some of you may not want to leave where you are because you don't feel like starting over again, but you may not be happy, or you may be entertaining other things. Like somebody's like, okay, I'm ready to get up out of here. I've been here long enough. So I get that too, as far as work, your career aspirations. Now your house of friendship here. This is where Taurus is at. This is where the North Node is, and this is where the full moon lunar eclipse is going to kick off in this house on November 8th. So this is the second eclipse we're experiencing within a 2-week period. All right, the first one was in Scorpio, which is the opposite of this house. Okay, your 5th and your 11th house. So they're opposing each other. So we're talking about, some of you may be in a situation where, relationships or situationships are ending. Those things are coming to a close. Now, I don't know if you are going to meet anybody, but I do know if you're in a position where you are breaking up with someone, it is someone that you are having a situationship with, like friends with benefit type relationships, or some of you are just tired of that lifestyle. And you're looking at the lessons that you've learned from it. So one or the other, I feel like those types of relationships are ending for you. Not that you're not going to have another one, or not that you're not going to recreate one that's already ended, but it could be changing in some way, shape, or form. I see that as well. So with your friend house here, your long-term friends versus your short-term situationships here. Some of you are looking for someone that you're comfortable with, somebody you can make money with, that you can enjoy the finer things in life with. And this may be somebody who's totally not your type. That's the crazy part. It's probably going to be, some of you may connect with someone that you, I won't say that you don't desire this person, but I feel like maybe this person may not be the most desirable. That's for some. For others of you, you're going to be mixing and mingling with people and in groups with people who are well off. Some of you, this is what you want to be. This is what you want to do. But so there's some changes you're making to your routines and your patterns, because that's what you want to do. You want to. Some of you, like I said, I see overseas. I see overseas travel. Not everybody's going overseas, but I see travel here. Okay, for sure that sticks out. But your 12th house here. Let's talk about that because that's where Mars is at in retrograde. That's your Gemini house. Now your 12th house is your inner wiring, so to speak. That's what I like to call it. So what's going on in your inner wiring is basically you got to be careful what you watch on the news and what you watch on television. I'm not saying that anybody is not smart and they don't know how to tell the difference between what they're being told versus what's reality, but there's going to be a lot more information in the media that is just not going to be accurate because it's going to cause confusion. And it's going to cause confusion. So, both ways. So just be careful what you're watching and what you believe, okay? There's a lot of people fighting in the media. That affects you subconsciously as well. I'm not sure why, but it could. So just watch what you watch on TV. You're just particularly sensitive to it. You know, it could be you might have a dream about something like this. Some of you, if your mind was running ragged or running crazy subconsciously, that's going to slow down. You may be able to sleep better right now. This might be a good time for you to sleep. Good sleeping weather for you. March, what is this? Mars is in retrograde October 30th through January 12th, I believe. So you're going to have good sleep. Or your sleep will be disturbed, one or the other. All right? Between now and January when Mars goes direct. I would definitely note what you have a dream about. All right, think about, just write it down. If you can't remember much, just try to remember what you felt like when you woke up. How did you feel? Were you angry? Were you sad? Were you happy? Were you excited? So that type of thing. But yeah, I just see you you're changing up things. You're changing your patterns. Like is game time is over is what I'm getting for y'all. Like that's your energy, that's your mode. Game time is over. Time to change up, do what you need to do. You taking care of your body as well. A lot of you working out. You may have stopped working out. Um, just keep in mind too, oh, okay, I see this, I gotta tell you this. Don't stress if you feel like a little lazy between now and January because Mars is opposing your sixth house. Mars is in retrograde. When Mars is direct, he's about let's go to the gym, let's lift this, let's lift that. Let's lift everything at once. Like that's your desire, that's your fire in you, your energy level, right? Well, it's in retrograde, so your energy level may be decreased. Okay, so some of you may feel like, damn, I wanted to get up and go to the gym, but I just been lazy, but I know I need to get in there. Don't beat yourself up. There's definitely alignment that could be affecting that. And just know that until Mars goes direct in January, you may be feeling this way for that period of time. So you either got to push yourself extra hard or you just got to, give yourself a minute and reset. Maybe try to figure out something else to do to keep your interest. This might be a good time to switch things up until that transit ends. If you just straight up disciplined about being there, maybe switching up, doing something different for these couple of weeks until Mars goes direct and then go back to something that, might coincide with you needing more energy, right? So maybe you just do basics for the next couple of weeks. You don't go and you don't beat yourself up too much. It's just basic maintenance. And then, maybe in January, then you say, okay, we're going to take it up a notch and start focusing on whatever. Just an example. So yeah, that's what I got for you, Cancer. If this is something that resonates with you, let me know. But make sure you check out last month's reading to see if that resonates now. And then check this one out at the end of the month too. If you need a personal, my information is in the box below, as well as the link to my other channel, Many Styles of Tarot, and the link to Patreon. I'm doing some readings over there, all right? I love you guys. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I'll see you in the next reading.